Hello everyone and welcome back to the Hardcore series. Now it has been well over a year since I have been on this world, well, on camera that is. However, here and there, every now and again, I just jump on here to do a little bit of work because most of my attention has been focused on either the Kinship or we've also got Jen's modded server. Mix that with obviously real life and my time has been taken up heavily. That being said, I just wanted to jump on here today to give you guys an update as to what I've been doing. And like I say, I've been jumping on every now and again to do a little bit of work here and there. And from the last episode, there has been quite a lot of change. The biggest difference, of course, as you can see, is that all the walls are in now. I just need to put in some of the towers. Of course, after that, it's going to be tons of terraforming, getting this place nice and level and making it look like it would actually be part of a kingdom. So naturally, a lot of this area here needs to be leveled out, it needs to be brought down quite a bit because these hilly bits here need to go. I will have a little bit of hilly terrain going throughout the whole thing because obviously it's going to be built on an island. I like the idea that the kingdom has been slightly modified to suit the terrain. So we're going to have a little bit of the natural terrain still left in there, but overall we're going to need to suit it to fit the vibe. And then of course this center section here is going to be where the kingdom is and where the castle is going to be and where the king is going to be residing essentially. So this area is going to need to be super nice, really detailed and just be something really luxurious and something that a king would actually live in. Now I think I mentioned in previous episodes that I want to really document and show the difference in each of the rings. So this bottom ring is going to be where the poor people are for the most part. Obviously we've got path blocks, we've got dirt blocks, there's mud, all that kind of stuff. So it's nothing really too amazing. And then as we come into the second ring, we've got more of the stone paths that are going to be put in here. Just something a little bit nicer, a little bit more upmarket. So some of the knights maybe, some of the soldiers are going to be in more of this area. Some politicians perhaps. As we come into the third ring, this is where the king is going to be. And this is where this flooring eventually will be something really high end and just look absolutely amazing. It's going to have a really nice pattern to it. I think I'm going to take a little bit of inspiration from Tango's Season 9 build, Decked Out 2 in the Deep Frost Citadel. There's a lot of basalt patterns and things like that, and I think I'm going to emulate something like that. So like I say guys, this is a bit more of an update video, just showing you what I've been up to over the past few months, taking small amounts of chunks as we go. With a bit of luck, I'm going to get back on this world more, and we're going to be able to actually get this thing finished sooner rather than later. The last thing I want to do is have another unfinished project. Now, I'm not just going to leave you hanging there, because even though this is just an update video, I still want to make some progress. So with that in mind, I'm going to try and get all of these towers finished, and even a little bit of terraforming. Let's go, guys. Yeah, I may have gone a little bit overboard here. As you can see, I've done all 4 sets of towers now, and the time lapse that you saw was of this one behind me here. However, you will notice that I actually did the whole thing in warped, just like the one I'm standing on. However, after I did that, I thought, no, I don't really like the idea of having all 4 of them the same colour. I want them to be all different. So, as you can see over there, I've got the pale oak, which I had to find a pale oak garden, which was way far behind me, or right over there. And then on the towers furthest away from me, you can see I am using crimson. Now, I only showed you the one time lapse mainly because once you've seen one lot of towers being built, you've seen them all. And you did see the other one as well, the very first one that I built. So I figured there's not really much point in showing these other two on camera. Probably just really quite boring for you guys. However, this whole thing wasn't without its challenges. And unfortunately, I've had to overcome quite a few challenges making these things because doing them in survival is not easy in the slightest. However, they look awesome. I am so happy and so pleased with how they've turned out. And I even managed to get these trims in on the sides of the walls. I do need to finish off the trims on these kind of corner turrets, but yeah, that's not going to take long at all. Now, because we've got these turrets kind of looking like very grand structures, on the inner ones I wanted something a little bit more subdued. So I've got just very plain kind of bog standard turrets here, and I've got them 1, 2, and 3. I've not put anything on this back wall because with the kingdom and the main castle going in the center here, I didn't really want there to be access at the back. That seems to me like a bit of a security concern, especially given the fact that the king's going to live there. So I decided to keep this one bricked up. Another reason for having these turrets a little bit more on the plain side is because when it comes to actually making the main castle, I want that to stand out a little bit more. So if we had constant, you know, really ostentatious looking structures, and then we have another really big kind of grand structure in the center, it could start to blend in a little bit together, and I really didn't want that. So just having a little bit of separation between everything, I think is going to work really well. Now, I have said from the beginning that one of the things that I want to continuously do as I go is the terraforming, and I don't really want to just leave it for one big job at the end. So as you can see here, I have been also trying to, getting a bit of lag here. I have been trying to do a little bit of terraforming as I go, to try and make the whole place look a little bit nicer. Now, my original thought was to just basically have everything flat. Just start with a complete and utter blank canvas and then add to it afterwards. And after thinking about it, I'm really not too sure I want to do that. So I've added a little bit of a dip in here. I don't know whether or not this is going to be full of water or whether or not it's going to have loads of plant life and animals and stuff in there. Because with this being the back of the kingdom, maybe there's kind of room for it to be a little bit more wild back here and then have something a bit nicer around the sides. But I have filled in this bit here, and I don't know if I've done a good enough job to kind of make this look a bit more natural. Maybe I can throw in some cobblestone, some andesite, that kind of stuff, just to kind of give it a little bit more texture. But I really would like to add a waterfall of some kind in here. I just don't know how to make it look natural. So if you have any tips for me, guys, please do leave it in the comments. Is it going to come over the top of here and then kind of fall into this little basin here? Or is it going to come over from this side or from this side? Or however, I really don't know how to make it look kind of natural and actually as if it would be there. Also, I just recently tamed this guy. I don't have a name for him yet. I mean, obviously, I was going to call him Pesky Bird or something like that, but that's just going to rip off Grian, so we can't do that. So again, if you have any ideas for names, please leave them in the comments. Now, one of the more annoying things about all this is that since I got rid of mending on all of my tools and armor, I now have to keep repairing everything or remaking stuff. It's a small price to pay, I suppose, to just keep things interesting and keep me on my toes when I'm in this hardcore world, because let's face it, mending is OP. And I just decided I really didn't want it for this series, so yeah, we got rid of mending, and it's a bit of a pain, but oh well. But yeah, as I mentioned before, this is mostly just going to be an update video. So in between this episode and the next, I'm going to prepare this area for a little bit more building. There's a lot of stuff that we need to do in this first ring, making the shops and the shanty towns and things like that. The second ring is going to need a really, really nice floor. And then obviously the third ring is going to need that big castle. So there's a lot of prep work to do, and I cannot wait to get some serious progress done on this build. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.